Tokyo Ghoul is personally one of my favorite stories. The world of the ghouls and the journey of Ken Kaneki is one of the most fascinating in recent years. Even so, I do find the anime adaptation to be fairly average, and I want to explore why that is. For this video, I will only be discussing the first season of Tokyo Ghoul, so not Rude or Ri. The first thing people will point to as a flaw for an adaptation is how the story translates. Do the same story beats in the manga happen in the show? And for the most part, Tokyo Ghoul follows the original story. Yes, I know there are some moments left out, but this isn't the reason why I think the adaptation is so average. I don't think the creators understand why they are adapting the work. What is the reason you are choosing to take the original story that was told through the medium of comics and turn it into an animated TV show? The creators of Tokyo Ghoul don't seem to understand what makes the medium of animation different from comics. Having a story be animated gives you opportunities that reading off the page doesn't. The first and most obvious advantage is seeing the fight scenes brought to life. The fight sequences in Tokyo Ghoul feel hollow. Moments tend to be unclear and nuance is lacking. Tactical and precision hits are missing for just swinging back and forth. Now, I don't think all of the fights are bad. Kaneki vs. Jason is a good example of a fight where the main character has just discovered his new powers. Let's take a look at the fight between Toka and Tatsukiyama.
Do you really think that's enough to beat me? Remember when you were 14 and I was 18?
Now, compare that to Obito vs. Kakashi from Naruto. Naruto isn't a perfect show, but it is able to create a story within its fight sequences, something that Tokyo Ghoul very rarely does. I believe this isn't the outcome of the source material not understanding how to create nuanced action, but the director of the show not understanding how to adapt an action sequence from comics to animation. Another huge difference between comics and animation is the pacing of scenes, and then how the episodes set up. Graphic novels are created knowing that the reader will have time to explore each page at his own pace. If there isn't something you understand, you can always go back and reread it. But for television, this isn't the case. The medium is much more passive than graphic novels. The show does all of the work for us. The majority of Tokyo Ghoul scenes tend to drag and fail to keep our attention, not because the material that is being adapted is uninteresting, but the pacing of the show is so erratic that it is hard to stay engaged throughout a 20-minute episode. The best shows understand how to handle the beats of an episode to create a compelling and satisfying story. Tokyo Ghoul often leaves off an episode incomplete. Take the first episode, for example. We are left in the middle of a fight scene, with no satisfying conclusion. Toka and Kaneki are in the middle of a conflict, but we have no resolution to it. This is a poor attempt to get us to want to watch the next episode. Take Attack on Titan, for example. The show is brilliant at cliffhangers, leaving every episode feeling complete, but asking a question that makes us want to come back. That shows me that the director understands how to turn a story into television. The director completely understands how to give the audience a complete and satisfying story, but still getting us to come back for the next episode. He knows how to pace an episode, and how to string each episode together to complete a satisfying season. Let's compare the end of Season 1 of Attack on Titan to Tokyo Ghoul's first season. Both of these shows continue for multiple seasons, so the story didn't need to be complete, but it should have an ending that is satisfying and wants us to come back for more. Attack on Titan ends with the conclusion of Eren and Annie's fight. Annie has been captured, and the scouts are getting ready to deal with the repercussions of the fight and all the damage they have caused. But the action has stopped. Annie and Eren aren't fighting anymore. There was a conclusion to the fight and the arc. Now let's compare this to Tokyo Ghoul. The last episode solely focuses on Kaneki and Jason, and ends with Kaneki killing Jason. The episode itself, I think, is clearly the best of the series. Great pacing, and it ends the episode with a conclusion to the conflict that was set up prior. But we still have an issue. The previous 2 episodes are a war between the CCG and the ghouls. And in the middle of this war is Kaneki's fight between Jason. Kaneki is just about to enter the bigger battle, and we end with no solid conclusion to this fight. We have to wait for the beginning of Season 2 to see the conclusion to the fight that has been set up for multiple episodes before the season ended. This isn't a satisfying conclusion, and it doesn't necessarily make us want to come back for more, because they just stopped in the middle of a battle. It gives the audience no real idea what they should expect for most of Season 2, just the first episode or 2. This gives me the feeling that the director of Tokyo Ghoul doesn't understand the pacing of television, how to set up rising conflicts within an episode, and structuring these episodes to be satisfying, but to also keep the audience asking questions. Tokyo Ghoul has gained its popularity because of an excellent manga and an adaptation that does the bare minimum to create a compelling TV show. The lack of understanding on how to animate and tell stories through fight scenes, as well as understanding the pacing and structuring of a TV episode and a series as a whole. This lack of understanding is why I think Tokyo Ghoul is held back. The story that it's trying to tell is great. It has a decent production, and the animation at times can look brilliant. But the series is held back at average because it doesn't understand why it's being adapted.